Alright. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to B-Rex Media. I'm your host, B-Rex, and happy Friday to you all. Now, I'm doing something a bit different and kind of diversifying my content a little bit. I decided I kind of wanted to just start into getting, reporting the gaming news and sharing some of my personal thoughts on it. So this is going to be sort of a hybrid news slash opinion thing, but I promise I won't try to get too opinionated. And all I really want to do is just see the gaming industry succeed. So if I'm criticizing something, just know it's not out of blind hate. It's because I think there are valid criticisms that could be leveraged towards it. So today's date is August 26th in the year of our Lord 2022, and we had a pretty big week in terms of gaming news this week. We had a couple showcases. We had the Destiny 2 showcase to kind of kick off the week. Then a couple hours after that, we had Gamescom opening night live with everyone's favorite friend, Jeff Keighley. And after that, we had the other Gamescom showcases. I know Xbox had a showcase there, but it wasn't like their E3. E3. I said that in air quotes. It wasn't like their E3 shows. It's more toned down, just kind of focusing more deep dives into games that are coming out within the next year, which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't watch most of it because I had other things to do with my time, so but I caught up on the news afterwards, and we got a couple big things from it, but I'm not really going to report on it. All I really learned from it was that we have a release date for Pentiment, which is November 15th, and High on Life, which is coming out on December 13th after a brief delay from October. So, moving right into the news, let's get started with the hottest button issue of the week. So, basically, if you live in any market that isn't the United States, you're going to be subjected to a PlayStation 5 price increase. Now, the problem with this is that, as we've all seen throughout console generations, hardware is refined, the base models are sort of, taken and repurposed. They're given new components, and neither Sony nor Microsoft have done that. Now, we're only 2 years into the generation, so I'm not really expecting them to come out with full-blown mid-gen refreshes yet, because this generation, I think, is going to last a lot longer than previous ones. Because with consoles, we kind of peaked, and, there's really no way that consoles can catch up to PCs right now unless they find a way to implement 3000 series level GPUs in them, which they won't. They can't do that and be able to sell these at a consumer-friendly price. But that's neither here nor there. Either way, depending on the market you are in and translated to American dollars, the PS5 is raising its price by $30 to $50, which, there might be a bunch of people who say, that's not really a big deal. Well, considering no one else in the gaming industry is doing this, it's a bit of a shocker. Now, when I say gaming industry, I mean consoles. Back in July, Meta decided to raise the price of the Quest 2 by about $100, which is just borderline extortion, because that cheap headset is pricey enough as it is. But I think the reason behind this is because, Sony wants money. And I think it comes at a bad time, especially given the state of the global economy. The United States, as we all know, is in a recession, so naturally you would think prices would be coming down to encourage consumers to start buying things again and, get the economy back up on its feet, which, we're seeing price drops in certain areas, but it's not, we just hit this recession, so it's not a big thing right now. But the PS5 is going up in price everywhere except the United States, pretty much. And they said it was a difficult decision, and I'm here to call that out right now. This was not a difficult decision for Sony. They saw it, they saw that all these other economies are kind of screwed up, and here's my theory on it. They know that Xbox can't compete with them, or I shouldn't say can't compete. Xbox has every reason to compete with them, and can compete with them anytime they can. But Xbox is not as prevalent in the markets where they're raising prices. They're raising prices in Japan, Mexico, Canada, the UK, EU, basically stuff where PlayStation sort of kind of dominates. And by dominates, I mean they just have more market share over there. Here in the United States, however, those numbers are kind of neck and neck. So they really have no incentive to raise the price in the United States, because that would just give Microsoft a free undercut, and they'd be like, hey, y'all should look at the Xbox Series S. It's $300 and gives you the same features as a PS5 or Xbox Series X, just at a lower rendering resolution. Because under the hood, that's the only difference between the two consoles. So, um, I think that's one of the reasons why Sony doesn't want to raise the price in America. Also, because gamers on in the U.S., especially the ones who love to live on Twitter, uh, they would be very opinionated about this. And there are, of course, corporate slaves who are saying, "Oh, this is a good thing. I'm happy to pay more for this." No, you're not. You are not. No one in their right mind would be happy to pay more for a product that they could have gotten for less. And what adds insult to injury is that these consoles are already very hard to find anyways. They're not as hard to find as at the beginning of the generation, but still relatively hard. Restocks are still not as prevalent as they should be. But next up in the news roundup, we have Dead Island 2. This game was officially revealed back in 2014, which would have been 8 years ago, a little over 8 years ago as of the time of filming, and by the time it releases on February 3rd of 2023, it will be almost 9 years since this game was revealed. Now, Dead Island 2 is at a very turbulent development, and Mischief made a good video about this. I'll link to it in the description, about why you should be very cautious heading into Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 is a game that, for lack of a better term, and I mean it's a fitting term too, has been to development hell and back. I mean, this game just refused to come out for 9 years. And it started out, Techland did the first two Dead Island games, which were Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide. Riptide wasn't as well received as the first game, and so Techland went off, separated from the publisher Deep Silver, to work on bigger and better things, such as the Dying Light franchise. Now we enter Jaeger Development, the creators of Spec Ops: The Line. Spec Ops: The Line is arguably one of the greatest third-person shooters ever made, because of its great story, wonderful shooting mechanics, and overall just how good it looked when it came out. It's one of the gold standards for third-person shooters. And everyone was really excited when they heard, oh wow, Jaeger's doing Dead Island 2. Hold on, wait. Spec Ops with a third-person game, Dead Island 2 is going to be a first-person shooter. How is this going to translate? So, about in 2016, Deep Silver cut Jaeger from the development team and instead put on Sumo Digital, who is famous for games like Sonic and All-Stars Racing, Little Big Planet 3, the Sackboy game that came out back in 2020, and they're more into kid-friendly games. They've done a couple mature games here and there, like Hood, Outlaws, and Legends, but they haven't been well received as their more family-friendly games. So that was kind of a shocker to see them working on a very gory franchise such as Dead Island. Another thing of note is that Sumo got cast out in 2019 after the Embracer Group kind of shuffled its developers around, and they started to put a focus on more development in-house. So what Deep Silver did was they they put Dambuster Studios, who's famous for Homefront: The Revolution, onto the task of creating Dead Island 2. 3 developers in 9 years. That is one development team every 3 years, and that is awful, especially for this game. And every time, it has been reported that every time a development team changes, the entire game is scrapped and started over from scratch. I mean, this is almost on the level of Duke Nukem Forever, in terms of how many times this game was rebooted. We finally got a release date. It's set in a post-apocalyptic version of Los Angeles, and there's 6 playable characters that you can play as, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Based on the gameplay they showed, it's looking like it's going to shape up well. Then again, I also said this for Dying Light 2 when I saw its reveal at last Gamescom, and it turned out to be extremely buggy at launch, and still doesn't run at 60 frames per second on the Xbox Series S, which is kind of why I've held off on buying it. But if it goes on if it is in the next Steam sale, I'm probably just going to go ahead and pick it up on PC, because I don't know if we'll ever get a 60 FPS patch for the Xbox at this point. And one more thing to note about Dead Island 2 is that Deep Silver and this is coming from Mischief's video, has a history of developer abuse. So, crunch, stuff like that. Homefront: The Revolution, from what I've heard, was not particularly well received at launch. The team had to crunch a lot to get it out on time, and it just seems like this is not. This is a game that you want to go into with cautious optimism. Everyone was really excited, like, oh, finally, now the only game we have to spam in the live chat is GTA 6 now, until that's revealed. I would hold off on Dead Island 2. Another notable thing about Dead Island 2 is that it is $70 on consoles, but $60 on PC. So if you want the best experience, definitely pick it up on PC. Unless you don't like the Epic Game Store, like myself. Then I guess you just gotta either wait for it to come to Steam or find some other way to get it, maybe on console. But I would be very reluctant to pay 60 yet even $70 for this game when it has been rebooted 3 times, never really seemed to have a clear direction of where it wanted to go. So yeah, Dead Island 2 coming out February 3rd. Looking forward to it cautiously. Speaking of expansions and sequels and stuff, let's talk about Lightfall. So I'm an avid Destiny 2 fan. I liked the first game. I thought its story could have been a lot better than it was, but I didn't really complain about it. I thought it was the best it could have been, and, with all the stuff that was happening at Bungie with Activision, they're having their team shuffled in and out, I'm glad they're finally independent now and can sort of focus more on the storytelling in these games. Currently, right now, we're in Season of Plunder, which is a pirate-themed Fallen season, and we're currently just, looting fallen catches, which is really fun. If you haven't played the new seasonal activity and you're a fan of Destiny, I highly recommend it. So, Lightfall is basically the Destiny Infinity War expansion. Because even though, you would think by this wallpaper that I have up here that it's going to be a very vibrant expansion, and this is something one of my friends told me. He said I didn't really like the way they revealed it because it looks like it's supposed to be extremely lighthearted, when in reality, I feel like he might have listened to it with his sound off, because when you listen to the trailer, it's very foreboding, and, like Cyberpunk, that has a dark story to it, and it's set in a very vibrant city. I feel like Lightfall is going to similar vibes. Plus, when I saw them reveal this logo, I immediately thought of the Pixar movie Lightyear. It's just the same font type, and it just stuck out to me. I guess that's what they're going for. They're going for a more space-themed game. So with Lightfall, we're traveling to the city of Neomuna on the planet Neptune, which is going to be really cool. We're going to be teaming up with the Cloud Striders, who are people who escaped the collapse before it happened. They're similar to the Awoken in that they escaped the collapse and kind of live on the edge of the universe. But our most worthy Emperor Callus has found them and is sending his darkness fleets to take them out. The Witness is right behind him. So this expansion, Callus is the main villain. The Witness is taking another back seat, kind of like how the Witness had a cameo in The Witch Queen at the end. The Witness is taking on a bigger role in Lightfall, but we are finally going to see the full might of the Witness in the final shape, which is going to be crazy. The final shape is going to probably be the best expansion for Destiny to date. And another thing I wanted to make note of is that Sony did acquire Bungie, and we all know how Sony loves their $70 games. Bad news for Destiny fans. I feel like that not marketing, but that business strategy is transferring over to the Destiny franchise. I know they said they were going to keep a hands-off approach to Bungie, but Bungie is now charging $50 for this expansion as opposed to the standard, which has been $40 for the past 6 years. I mean, since D1, these expansions have been $40, which, I mean, I thought was enough. But $50 is almost the price of a new game. So that's not very cash money of them, in my opinion. And also, the annual pass deluxe edition is $100 as opposed to, it used to be $70, and then it went to $80 last year. But they also kind of gave us a reason for it to be $80. They added in a $20 dungeon key, but, took $10 off the price as part of the bundle. And that's leading me to wonder why this strategy is in place, because the Witch Queen 30th Anniversary Edition, which came with the Witch Queen's Deluxe Edition and the Bungie 30th Anniversary Pack, was $100, and now you're paying $100 for basically what was the Witch Queen's Deluxe Edition, just it's a new expansion. You're getting the exact same stuff. The only difference is that you get the Deluxe Exotic Weapon instantly, except it has been disabled ahead of today's raid race for King's Fall. So that's just an overview of what happened with Lightfall. Other than that, there's not much else to report on, and thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Have a good day, and just keep being awesome. Thank you for listening.